Let me ask you a question, one that might stop you in your tracks if you really let it sink in. Have you ever felt like no matter how beautiful, intelligent, kind, or loyal you are, you're still not the one being chosen? Like you're the one giving, showing up, loving hard, but somehow you're still the one left behind, ghosted or treated like an option. There's a reason for that, a reason so quietly embedded into our culture, our stories, our psychology, that it escapes most people. But once you see it, once you understand this one shocking truth, it changes everything. Because the truth is, attraction isn't just chemistry. Love isn't just about timing. And relationships don't flourish because you're enough or not enough. They flourish when you understand power, when you understand self-respect, and when you realize that men don't chase women who give them everything. They chase the women who give them something to rise toward. And that is where we begin. And somewhere along the way, we bought into a damaging narrative that if you want to be loved, you need to prove yourself. You need to make it easy. Be the cool girl. Don't be too emotional. Don't want too much. Don't ask for clarity. Be chill. Be low maintenance. Be sexy, sweet, supportive, and successful. All while never making him feel uncomfortable. And so what happens? You start performing. You morph into the version of you that you think he'll want. You laugh at things that don't feel funny. You suppress the questions you really want to ask. You tone yourself down. You give, hoping that one day he'll see you. But he won't. Because in his mind, the moment you abandon yourself to win him, he's already lost interest. Not because you're not amazing, but because the person you're showing him isn't the real you anymore. She's become a projection, a placeholder, a mirror of his desires, not your truth. And you know what's worse? He might not even consciously understand why he's drifting. He might even say, "You're perfect." He might mean it, but something inside him knows he didn't earn this. He didn't fight for it. He didn't become more to deserve more. So he leaves, or strings you along, or ghosts you just when things were getting good. And you're left wondering what you did wrong. Men don't chase women who need them. They chase women who awaken something within them. Now, this doesn't mean you should play hard to get. That's manipulation. And manipulation always collapses. It means you stop giving people access to you who haven't demonstrated emotional maturity. It means you stop showing up for someone's potential and start honoring your reality.
When you do that, you naturally attract people who are ready to meet you where you are. The ones who aren't will fade out, and that's a win for your peace.
There's a deep philosophical principle that Plato once spoke of. We can easily forgive a child who is afraid of the dark. The real tragedy of life is when men are afraid of the light. You, my love, are the light. But when you dim yourself to be digestible, to be pleasing, to be chosen, you rob the world of that light. You rob yourself of a love that is expansive, not transactional. You were not made to beg for crumbs. You were made to be cherished. But for that to happen, you need to stand in a kind of energy that says, I don't chase, I attract, I align, I become. You don't manipulate, you magnetize. You don't demand, you demonstrate. You don't compete, you command presence. Because the moment you stop hustling for someone's attention and start living from your own center, men notice. The right men feel it. They may not know what's different about you, but they'll know that being around you makes them want to rise, not just romantically, in life. That's the power of a woman in alignment. Let me share another real story, this time from history. In 12th century France, there lived a woman named Heloise. She was a scholar, a poet, and an intellectual powerhouse. Men were fascinated by her, but she didn't seek their approval. She had one of the most legendary love stories in European history with a philosopher named Peter Abelard. He fell madly in love with her, not because she was demure or passive, but because she challenged him intellectually, emotionally, and spiritually. Their letters to each other are still studied to this day, not because they were romantic fluff, but because they revealed two people in deep mutual respect. Passion, yes, but also reverence, curiosity, challenge. That's the kind of energy that makes men chase, not just physically, but existentially. They chase a woman who pushes them to expand, not shrink, because men don't want to be worshipped, not truly. Not the men worth your time. They want to be inspired. And the most inspiring woman is not the most perfect one. She's not the prettiest or the youngest or the most agreeable. She's the one who knows who she is and lives like it. But here's the trap. The world will try to punish you for that. The world will call you intimidating, high maintenance, unreasonable. But what the world often calls too much is just a woman who has stopped apologizing for her power. And that scares people. It scares insecure men. It scares people pleasers. It scares anyone who hasn't yet claimed their own strength. But the ones who are ready, they will chase you, not because you're playing a role, but because you're living a truth. And truth is magnetic.
And the best part is, you don't have to chase that kind of energy. It will find you, value you, and work to keep you.
Proving your worth, you are allowed to take up space. You are allowed to say no. You are allowed to ask for more. You are allowed to walk away. You are allowed to be powerful and soft, radiant and still, desired and discerning. Because the shocking truth isn't that men will chase you when you become this version of yourself. The real truth is they already feel her, even if you're still becoming her. And that's what pulls them in. That's what makes them chase. I want to revisit a truth I shared earlier, one that if you let it settle deep within will begin to transform how you approach not just dating, but your life, your choices, and your very essence. The truth is simple. Men do not chase women who need them. They chase women who inspire them to be more. Women who challenge them, not with power plays, but with purpose. Women who, through their energy, ask the question, are you worthy of me? Now, you might be thinking, that sounds great, but how do I make this shift? How do I stop feeling like I'm invisible or always too much? It's not easy, I know. We've all been trained by the world, trained by social media, by movies, by narratives that say we have to conform, to shrink ourselves to fit some idealized mold of what we should be to attract attention. But none of that will make you truly magnetic. None of that will make a man chase you. Not in the way that truly matters. Because when we talk about the kind of pursuit that makes men obsessed with you, we're not talking about superficial chase. We're talking about something much deeper. We're talking about the chase for your heart, your mind, your soul. The part of you that is untouchable by insecurity, by fleeting desires, or by anything other than genuine connection. The key to this profound shift is understanding one thing. The masculine is always drawn to the feminine, but not in the way you might think. Attraction between men and women is not just a simple equation of looks, chemistry, or the ability to make a person laugh. That's part of it, yes, but the magnetic attraction that causes a man to feel compelled to rise toward you, that's something deeper, something more powerful. You see, there's a universal principle that says in every healthy relationship dynamic, the masculine needs to feel like he is needed, but the feminine needs to feel like she is chosen. And here's the truth. Men don't chase women who need them to feel whole. They chase the women who have made peace with themselves, women who have stepped into their power, who know their worth, who do not need validation, and who are not afraid to be vulnerable within that strength. When you give off the energy of needing someone to complete you, men see this as a void they must fill. They are pulled in by the idea of saving you, fixing you, and this can create a false sense of closeness. But the minute they fulfill that need, they realize there's no longer any challenge.
When you're already whole, the connection becomes about growth instead of rescue. That's the kind of bond that keeps the chase alive long after the first spark.
Delicate balance, a push and pull that you need to navigate between vulnerability and strength. If you close off completely, or if you put up walls that prevent anyone from getting close, you may be perceived as cold or unapproachable. This is not about becoming an ice queen. It's about becoming a woman who is open but not desperate, vulnerable but not weak, strong but not unreached. This is the power of paradox. A woman who understands her worth can be vulnerable without losing her power. She doesn't shrink away from her emotions, she expresses them with grace. She doesn't suppress her desires, she shares them with confidence. She opens herself to love, but she never compromises her identity or her values. This is what makes you magnetic, not the absence of emotion, but the presence of it, in balance.
That balance makes people feel safe and inspired around you. It's the kind of presence that draws in the right ones and keeps them close. If this message spoke to you, like and share it so more people can step into their worth and attract the love they deserve.